years in seminary, money came to us as a family fairly infrequently. My wife Lois stayed home with the children, and I worked what jobs I could while also going to school full time. To describe that season as one of near financial destitution would not be an exaggeration. Anyone who has attended seminary or graduate school with a spouse and children to care for will understand. Surviving became the goal. Eating became the goal. Keeping the car running and the electricity on became the goal. We aimed to reach these goals each week through as many strategies as we could. One of the ways we sought a source of income came through house-sitting for families who traveled on vacations or business trips. The seminary I attended had developed strong relationships with many wealthy families in Dallas, nurturing a trust that would open the door for such work. These families assumed, and rightly so, that the seminary students who house-sat for them would not steal from them. They also assumed that their children would be properly looked after, their animals cared for, and their valuables protected. And what valuables they were! Some of these families had cars that cost more than most houses. Now, you can imagine how excited Lois and I were each time we were chosen to house-sit for a family. Not only were we assured that we would be eating well all week long, but we also got to live it up in palaces while driving fancy cars. To top it off, we got paid to do this. Moving on up from our tiny apartment to an enormous house, finely decorated inside and with a well-manicured lawn outside, brought us great joy. One time I even got to drive a Bentley to school. Yes, I took the longest route possible. However, despite our enthusiasm for our increase in living standards, we needed to stay realistic in our thinking. Lois would often remind me by saying, "Tony, this is not your house." She would say this because at times I would get a little too comfortable with my surroundings rather than remember that the family had merely left us in charge during their absence. I'll admit, it is easy to get comfortable and forget what is yours and what is not yours when you are in the vicinity of something or even someone. Proximity paints unrealistic pictures of power and possession in all of our minds. Just because we had been tasked with managing a property for a weekend or a week, this did not make us the owners of that property. We were asked to manage the premises of another. Our role involved overseeing the well-being of what was not ours at all. The life lessons learned during this time in our young lives have stayed with me in a profoundly spiritual way. This wasn't because of any book I read or study I did, but because I experienced firsthand what stewardship really looks like. At the end of our stay, we left the homes in as good a shape, if not better, as when we arrived. We left the food, if there was any left over. We left the cars. We left the kids we were child-sitting, furniture, pets, lawn and sound systems, and large-screen TVs. We left it all, didn't take one single thing with us. Why? Because it was not ours to take. It had been ours to manage only. We had been entrusted as stewards. Recently I experienced a year shadowed by a significant amount of loss. I lost friends and family members to illnesses and even suicide. It seemed like each new month brought about the devastating news of another person's passing. While this season was tough, it also served as a wake-up call and a healthy reminder that we take nothing with us when we head home into glory. None of the things we buy, none of the things we treasure, none of the things we save up for or invest our time and talents in. The only things that get sent on to heaven are the things we did for God and for others through His power and presence in us. These are things with eternal impact. Many people talk about legacy when someone leaves this earth. Legacy simply refers to what a person has left behind. But the true legacy